Hi, Minotaur here, with another update on the pure chaos build with the Occultist variant. It uses Obliteration once and Profane Bloom to create chaos corpse explosions. This video contains hard maps with guardian kills and different setups. First off, I'll show why I love this build so much, the chaining explosions. Here I use Decay, the damage over time mod from the Essence League. I hit a target with the Blade Vortex, applying damage, poison and a decay on hit. The target dies and the 40% chance explosion is rolled. Now another target gets hit by the explosion, applying a good chunk of damage and another decay. Besides, curse on hit with ascendant gloves. The plague is spreading. Getting lucky with another explosion for the AoE damage and more decays. The monsters die and explode again. If monsters are lined up perfectly, this chain reaction can go on and on and on. Now the good thing about this phased explosion is that it's not causing lag, unlike when you explode 20 monsters at the same time. Right to business. The first setup version I'm using to show has a lot of evasion nodes and low damage investment, and it has the extra energy shield recharge. 15k evasion is nice to avoid damage so the regen can kick in. With the Stipnight Flask the evasion spikes up above 20k and blinds enemies with smoke so they have even less chance of hitting you. I've managed to get the right glove enchant called Commandment of Blades on Hit. It's a projectile that chains dealing physical damage. That physical damage is scaled up high by gear and skill tree, so it deals enough damage to kill white monsters and enough to stun rogue exiles. It can curse on hit and it can decay on hit, and most importantly the kills can cause chaos explosion to start chain reactions. Off screen. Yes, off screen, it's insane. The boots enchant give life and mana leech. The mana leech is vital. It enables you to run the no regen map mod. Look at this volcano. Even while hampered by temporal chains and enfeeble, this character still clears a tier 14 map with ease. Up next, a fast clear map while still in evasion mode. Important is to overcap your resistances, so you're able to run elemental weakness maps. You can go super fast if you don't mind seeing the loot. It's a game called Tag. All you gotta do is hit the monsters once and apply the decay and keep moving. Behind you the monsters will bleed out and die, causing explosions. For more decay and more deaths and more explosions. Yeah, you get the idea. This is tier 1 clear speed, alright. You can even go faster if you invest more into movement speed. Dark purple circles you see around the feet on the monsters is from the Occultist. It's called Void Beacon and lowers chaos resist by 20%. In high maps, monsters can have 30 chaos resist, so this node is very effective if you stay close. The extra AoE scales the radius for trash, but it really shines in boss fights. Up next, I removed the evasion nodes for a lot of damage. Besides that, I've removed the faster energy shield recovery nodes. 13k evasion is still acceptable in my book. Now about the flasks. Because I like to specialize into the chaining explosion, I'm using a Dying Sun flask for extra AoE. I also give priority on the Witch Brew flask. A lot of dot damage and I get a free curse. That leaves one spot for a basalt or unique taste of hate. Since I don't really need more damage, I'd like to stay off the elemental damage, so I got no issues whatsoever with the elemental reflect maps. That means I'm using a basalt flask, with extra mod later on to be decided. I've only got one flask left. I'm not a pathfinder so I cannot keep up an onslaught flask, so that means a quicksilver. Movement is important if you don't have whirlblade or shield charge. Now I've got two secondary mods left for those two flasks. One has to be bleed and the other one should be freeze immune for hardcore. On softcore you might be able to get away with extra movement, but YOLO opening loot boxes can be sketchy. So the flask spots are hard pressed because we're using Dying Sun. But this also means there's no room for Finctars, since there's no room for shock immunity. So it's either Dying Sun or Finctars. For the biggest boss Shaper you could even use 2 Finctars for leech, no need for AoE on a hard boss fight. But whatever setup you're going to use, you could even swap to Essence Rain, the Shaper fight will be sketchy for any non-pathfinder. This Occultist would need serious fine tuning for Shaper. Since it needs better mana management to spin up, it cannot rely on Foul Clarity. Needless to say, for the poison immune guardians you need different gem setups. Less dot stuff and more direct damage, like Empower, Controlled Destruction and added Chaos Gem. Back to the flask. I've chosen Dying Sun because I have too much fun with the extra AoE. Until you get your hands on a Dying Sun, you might settle for the Templar AoE skill nodes. Now in the aftermath, the only thing we can use to shock bosses is thus Vile Lightning Trap, and that one is going to eat up a lot of souls, so you do not have Vile Discipline up early in the map. The boss skill is easy enough, I just need a bit more practice. Up next, I've removed some resistance nodes below Scion to take back the energy shield faster regen nodes on top. They are way too important to drop. This is the hard Minotaur map, so to stay alive I roll them as magic or regold. Add sacrifice pieces and the Zana map mod to boost the quantity of drops. Here you see the effects of the commandment of blades on hit. You find dead monsters off screen for the win. This build cuts through tier 15 monsters like a hot knife through butter. Now if you had better gear you could easily reach 11k ES instead of a Minotaur 8.5. Using the ruby flask called Dying Sun is a huge deal. The AoE does wonders and still gives you maximum fire resist, so you can take a big hit of fire like standing in a flame blast. Now before the boss you want to spin up, and that's a problem, since you do not have decent mana management, except for leech after kills. I like to use Vile Clarity, take your time to rev up and start the fight. Now I know I cannot kill him in 8 seconds, the duration of Vile Discipline, so I will not activate it before the fight, but I will activate it until I've taken my first big hit. Then comes a point in the fight where I know there's enough poison on the boss to kill him, so I can bail out and kite with the Opie Occultist AES regen and wait until he's dead. Up next, this version has dropped Grace and picked up Blasphemy, Enfeeble and Arctic Armor. I'd love to get the +1 curse amulet for triple curse, but did not manage to get it. It would be a solid option for this build to invest into curses. My evasion has dropped down from 15 to 5k. It's effectively more, since Enfeeble lowers my opponent's accuracy. Enfeeble is way more effective against one shot. I didn't bother to utilize a golem. That also means I never have to worry about the map mod monster change 2 times. In this fashion, plenty people have died in parties or got PK'd by their own golem. A downside of investing too much in curses is the curse immune mechanics. These include map mods, some specific magic and rare monsters, and totems. I run Guardian maps with Anarchy. Extra spawned rogue exiles can drop item level 84 special item bases. If you do it enough, it pays back triple fold. When you have trouble with boss kills, another fine option would be to run Domination. If you pick up a crit shrine or an echo shrine, your boss fights might become a complete walkover. Again, I'm activating Vile Discipline after the first hit I take. My positioning is bad though, I stand too close to the lightning pillars. Up next, still got the damage nodes and the ES regen, but lacking a bit of resistance, fine tuning for the elemental weakness. This can be solved easily with one jewel. Now how would this build work without Decay? Without Essence League resources? Well, we're bound to find out with this Akimbo Minotaur run. I did not change my gem shadow. You could also use less damage over time stuff and go more direct damage like Controlled Destruction or more cast speed with Spell Echo. However, I found out I like doing less damage for Reflect. Physical Reflect maps are a problem. With Decay you can deal with it by running around only with one Vortex stack. Without Decay it's a lot harder, but can still be done. Better just to reroll physical Reflect maps when akimbo. There's one option that could increase the single target damage by a huge chunk, it should be mentioned, and that is Wither Spell Totem. Wither stacks a short duration debuff that gives 7% increased chaos damage taken. Increased damage, but since it's taken it scales similar to the more damage modifier, so it's very effective indeed. Okay, let's see how the boss fight goes without Decay. It's official, you can go without Decay. Happy explosions everybody, and thanks for watching.